Good evening and welcome to the news roundup for Tuesday the 22nd of October. Before we get into the news, please remember to like this video, share your views in the comments, and share the video with your family and friends.
Reach them! Always make sure the message reach them!
Now for the news in detail. The police have identified the 5 men who were shot and killed during a mass shooting after a football match in Pleasant Heights on Monday night. They are 51-year-old Ortavia Austin, otherwise called Mendez, and his 29-year-old son, Okira Austin, also called Kiro, both of Olivia Road. The police say the elder Austin is a high-ranking member of the Olivia Road gang. 32-year-old Odin Josephs, otherwise called Bones, 38-year-old Rossrick Thomas, otherwise called Tenniel, and a man believed to be John Dolphy, otherwise called John Dixon, a carpenter of a Rockfort address. The police say Dolphy is the leader of the Base 1 gang. 2 other men were reportedly injured in the gun attack. The attack was reportedly carried out by men armed with handguns and rifles. An additional Jamaican $38.3 million in cash was seized during a secondary search in the continuing investigation into the suspected lottery scamming activities in St. Catherine. This seizure was made on Saturday, October 19, during a multiple agency operation as detectives revisited a property on St. Vincent Boulevard in Caribbean Estate, Portmore, where officers had previously recovered over 100 million Jamaican dollars. Detectives from the National Strategic Anti-Gang Division led the operation, which took place between 11:30 a.m. and 7:10 p.m. with support from the Major Organized Crime and Anti-Corruption Agency MOCA, the Financial Investigations Division FID, and the Caribbean Search Center. During the search, which was carried out in the presence of the suspects and their attorneys, investigators also recovered 2 electronic devices, a currency counting machine, financial documents, luxury receipts, and designer handbags. Previously seized motor vehicles were inspected, and financial documents found within the cars were taken for investigation. The police believe that these developments are expected to bolster the ongoing probe. Meanwhile, investigators have confirmed that the scope of the investigation has expanded beyond what was suspected to be lottery scamming activities. According to the police, charges against the suspects are expected to be laid in the coming days as investigation progresses. The police say the 3 men killed during a confrontation with lawmen in Clarendon on Monday were wanted for various crimes, including murders and shootings. According to police reports, about 2:15 p.m., the men were traveling in a white Toyota Probox motorcar along the Huntspen Main Road when police signaled the driver to stop. The occupants of the vehicle allegedly opened gunfire at the police. The police returned the fire and the 3 men in the vehicle were shot. They were taken to hospital where they were pronounced dead. The police have launched a manhunt for the other 2 occupants who escaped from the vehicle. The Independent Commission of Investigations Indicom is probing the incident. 2 men are dead following a brazen shooting on North Street in downtown Kingston on Tuesday morning. The deceased are 23-year-old Michael Mitchell of Blount Street and 21-year-old Donald Walters Jr. of Dumfries Street, both in Kingston. Preliminary reports suggest that several people were walking along the roadway when armed criminals drove up in a car and opened fire. The shooters then drove away. The police were called to the area and 3 people were found suffering from gunshot wounds. They were rushed to the hospital where 2 members of the group were pronounced dead. The condition of the 3rd victim is not known at this time. One Keltec 9mm Luger pistol with a magazine containing 7 rounds and a grey ski mask was seized during an operation on Riverhead Road, Logwood, Green Island in Hanover on Monday. 6 people, including 2 teens, were taken into custody in connection with the seizure. Reports are that between 2 p.m. and 5 p.m., a joint police-military team armed with a search warrant under the Firearm Prohibition Act went to the mentioned premises, On their arrival, the occupants were searched and the weapon and ammunition were found. The Jamaica Constabulary Force is mourning the death of a policeman who on Sunday succumbed to injuries he sustained in a hit and run earlier this month. Constable Linroy Codner passed away sometime after 10 a.m. at the Falmouth Hospital's Cornwall Regional Hospital wing. On October 4, the officer fell down a nearly 50-foot precipice after being mowed down by a taxi operator during a traffic stop in Granville, St. James. The incident resulted in a constable receiving multiple head injuries. The National Road Safety Council is renewing its call for motorists to exercise caution on the nation's roads. The latest appeal comes as road fatalities breach the 300 mark. The Public Safety and Enforcement branch of the JCF PSTEP says between January 1 and the Sunday, October 20, 300 people were killed in 257 collisions on the roads. Vice Chairman of the National Road Safety Council, Dr. Lucien Jones, says although this represents an 11% decline when compared to this time last year, there is no cause for celebration.
The report by the police that 300 persons have died on the nation's roads is not good news. Yes, we are 11% down compared to last year. Yes, last year 36 more people died. But 300 is a huge number, especially when you put it in the context of what the WHO has mandated us to do, to reduce death by 50% by 2030 in the second decade of road safety. We have a long way to go to fulfill that mandate. In fact, the numbers would have to come down to 212 for us to achieve that goal. It's not going to happen this year. We've been running one a day for the last month or so. And if that continues for the rest of the year, we're going to approach pretty close to 400 road deaths. Yes, less than last year, but not good.
In the corresponding period in 2023, 336 people were killed. Dr. Jones says more resources are needed to significantly decrease the high level of road deaths across the island.
We need to redouble our efforts. We need to have the resources channeled into road safety to make sure that not one more person will die, much less 300. This is the second leading cause of violent death in the country. As a nation celebrating National Heroes Week, we're looking towards heroes on our roads. Not just the police, but those who know what it is to drive carefully and to look out for your neighbor. Not to speed, not to drink and drive, not to smoke ganja and drive, not to cross the road carelessly.
The parents of slain 9-year-old Gabriel King, Michael Issa, and Amoy Leon Issa have officially filed defamation lawsuits against two online bloggers. The bloggers are Sharmonique Hines and Xavier Newton Bryant. The parents' legal team formally served the documents on Friday, shortly after the motion was filed in the Supreme Court. The lawsuit concerns controversial comments made by the two bloggers surrounding Gabriel's death, who was found in the back seat of his mother's car on the 13th of January 2022 with his throat slashed. In July of this year, the police indicated that the case had gone cold after they found no evidentiary material on Mrs. Issa's phone. Following Friday's lawsuit, Mr. Issa declared that he will work fervently to take legal action against all persons who have defamed both himself and his wife in relation to their son's death. He says as grieving parents, they are faced with the impossible task of coping with the loss of a child. Mr. Issa says they have had to endure the salacious and irreparable damage that has been caused to their reputation and quality of life by persons who have chosen to circulate flagrant lies about them on digital platforms. Mr. Issa further noted that neither he nor his wife consented to any photograph of their child being published, yet it was done so without their consent. He is urging Jamaicans to be careful of unfounded content they post online. 61-year-old farmer Michael Lumley from Enfield in St. Mary was shot and killed on Monday while visiting his girlfriend in Hanover Bay. The incident took place around 7:15 p.m. while the deceased was reportedly sitting in the yard. It is alleged that a silver Toyota Axio stopped at the gate. Two men alighted from the vehicle, entered the yard and approached Lumley. The gunman then reportedly opened fire, hitting him in the left shoulder before escaping in the waiting motor car. Lumley was taken to the Hanover hospital where he was pronounced dead. No one else was injured in the attack. It is believed that Lumley's murder is a result of a gang violence in the area. A 24-year-old woman and her 7-year-old niece are the latest victims of gun violence in St. Elizabeth. The two were shot and injured during an early morning home invasion in Dry River District. They are in serious but stable condition in hospital. Reports are that sometime after 1, the 4 occupants of a house were awakened to smoke after their attackers set fire to the front doors. 3 armed men then entered the house and opened fire, hitting one of the 3 women and a child. A cousin of the family says it is believed that the shooting is linked to an ongoing domestic abuse case, and the mother of the 7-year-old appears to have been the target. However, the police have not yet established a motive for the shooting. The St. James police seized one AK-47 rifle, 26 5.56 rounds, a mask and firearm cleaning apparatus in Rosemount, Mount Salem last week. One man was apprehended after he tried to elude the police, fell and broke his leg. More from head of the St. James Police Division, Superintendent Aaron Samuels.
On Tuesday, October 15, between the hours of 3 and 5 p.m., a target operation was conducted in the Rosemount, Mount Salem community, where an AK-47 rifle was seized along with 26 5.56 rounds, a mask, 2 magazines and cleaning apparatus. During the operation, one male was being interviewed when he was searched and a key for a premises found on him. Whilst the police officers were about to breach the premises, he ran off, jumped over a fence and injured himself along a hilly terrain. On his retrieval, it was borne out that his 2 legs were badly damaged and broken in several areas. We are very happy with this find, as we have been receiving information that there were firearms in the space and shots being fired in the night. I must applaud the work of the police officers in being diligent in searching for these weapons, and we continue to push to ensure that we rid the streets of St. James of illegal weapons. We are asking that persons surrender to the police, cooperate with the police. We don't want a situation where you run from the police and get injured. We are ensuring that St. James becomes a place to live, raise families and do business.
The St. Elizabeth police are investigating the murder of a 26-year-old man in Georges Valley, Balaclava in the parish on Monday. The victim has been identified as Kenroy Facey, also known as Bandulo. According to police reports, Facey was at a shop in the community around 8:25 a.m. when he was attacked by unknown assailants who shot him. He was rushed to hospital but was pronounced dead on arrival. No motive has been established for the killing. The Black River Criminal Investigation Branch is leading the investigation. In business, Jamaica's net international reserves continue to fall from the US $5.27 billion to which it climbed at the end of September. This is due to the central bank's heavy intervention in the foreign exchange market since the start of this month. The BOJ intervened with the US $90 million last week, but the dollar still traded above $159 to $1, indicating a major gap between the demand and the supply of foreign exchange. And that is it for your news roundup for today. We would appreciate you liking this video, leaving a comment and sharing the video with your family and friends. Have a good evening and see you next time.